Hi and welcome to another installment of Shooting Star. Last week I blogged an FAQ post about posing, and one of the tips that I had offered was move your clients into a pose. What I didn't expect was to get a lot of questions afterward about this notion of moving into a pose. So what do I mean by that? 3 tips to move clients into a pose. 1, think backward. Once you think actually of the pose that you want to do, how then can you go about achieving that very thing? For example, let's say I have a bride and a groom walking towards me and I want them laughing, smiling, enjoying the moment. Well, I can't just say, okay, laugh and smile and enjoy the moment. I need to give them actions. So if I wanted that example to actually come to fruition, I would place a bride and a groom at a distance from each other and I'd say, okay guys, come together, then walk towards me. And I would maybe say to the bride, throw your arm around his neck, or to the groom, throw your arm around her neck, however it was going in that moment. And then they would walk to me and I would pan backwards with them. Now what would happen in between this time is, because they're not professional models, they would probably walk towards each other, throw their arms around each other, and during this time, something would happen. And depending on how they love, their emotions would be very different. Some might reveal like an awkward laugh. Some might reveal that, oh, she could possibly slightly stutter step and he catches her and she laughs and she falls back into his arms. Other times they might just look at each other and enjoy that very moment. The beauty about instructions is that instructions and actions lead to very different emotions. I can give these same instructions to 10 different clients and get 10 different photos from it. Lastly, the 3rd step would be to talk your clients through it. They're not professional models, so as they're walking to you, as their arms are thrown around each other, making sure that you're talking to them like, that's so great guys, I love what's going on. Oh yes, please, yeah, that's great, awesome. Does it feel cheesy sometimes? Absolutely, but it's so difficult to be on the opposite side of the camera that the energy that you're giving them and the feedback and the support actually manifests itself in a very genuine picture. So I asked a few people on Facebook for a few questions in regards to moving into a pose. Now, Rima Sturgeon asked, how do you pose bigger body types? I got asked this question again and again and again. My answer will always be the same. I pose all my clients the same way. Yes, there's the ever-present, you could shoot a larger client pointed down, you can turn a waist out one way and turn the shoulders out another way, and yes, those are good tips, but for me, it's more about capturing the emotion as I move them into a pose, because it reveals the truest part and the most beautiful part of, I think, my clients. Courtney Jade asked, if you pose clients and it doesn't look right, do you snap a few photos anyway? Absolutely. I totally do. You know, if my clients are looking awkward or feeling uncomfortable, it's not their fault, it's mine. I'm not doing a good job in instructing them how I want them to move. But I won't make them feel awkward or make them feel like they're doing a bad job. I'm like, okay guys, I'll kind of shoot there. Then I'll say, let's move into something else where I feel like I can do a better job. Annie Concepcion asked, how do you communicate properly without sounding rude? I get asked this question often too. Try to not speak in negatives. So instead of saying, don't put your hand on your waist, I would say, can you put your hand on her shoulder? Instead of saying, don't put your chin down, I would say, can you lift your chin up? Those small little tiny things actually, people digest them very differently. Lastly, Tiffany Remy asked, how do you keep your clients from going stiff? This happens to me often, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of people. You want to make sure that your clients are feeling comfortable, but if I'm shooting and they're feeling like it's a really positive emotion and a moment, they're kind of going like this, like this, like this, their shoulders come up, their chins come down, everything starts clenching. The best way to beat this would simply say, okay guys, I put my camera down and I say, can you take a deep breath? Let it out, and what this does is it drops the shoulders, it reminds them why they're there, it reminds them that it's just the 2 of them, I'm shooting them, and they're there to have a good time. At the end of the day, posing was really hard for me when I first started. It was something that I practiced, and practiced. The steps of actually moving into a pose was something I didn't think about until probably a 1.5 years ago. And if I could save you any type of time in practicing on your own, ignore me. I want you to go out and practice on your own, get better, and find ways to move people into a pose. I hope this helps. If not, I'll try again next week. I hope you have a beautiful day and stay fabulous.